when you're going through your young adult years here, or like even your teenage years, it's an interesting place considering all the things that you're putting on your mind that you really wouldn't have to consider other places, right? You're thinking about what other people are thinking about you. You're thinking about what other people are doing that you're not doing. One of the best opportunities I've got recently was like to start doing cheerleading at BYU. To this day, I still get people like, bro, what position you play? Like, what position you play in football? And I'm like, I'm a cheerleader. And they snicker, like they laugh, they think I'm joking. Obviously, like their initial response is like, nah, there's no way you'd be doing that. Like there's no way if you had a choice that you'd do that. I love what I'm able to do though. It's an interesting place to navigate all these different things, but I feel like the more that you concern yourself with what other people are thinking about you, the more dissatisfied you're gonna be.
I don't believe we're meant to get along with everybody. When we can understand that and just live your life, and the people that come into your life that are meant to will, the people that leave your life that are meant to leave, they will also. Welcome everybody back to Man on the Mic. I'm Jeffrey Mann, your host. Super excited to relaunch the podcast, relaunch the season. I am joined by a good friend of mine, single, ready to mingle. Ladies, his number will be in the caption.
No.
But before we get there, I'm going to let him introduce himself. Ladies and gentlemen, Sammy.
What's good, you guys? How's it going? I'm Sammy Layadi. I moved here to Utah. I don't know if this is like thing, but I moved here to Utah 3 years ago for school. I'm at BYU. I'm a student at BYU. Student athlete, if you will call it, because I do cheerleading at BYU. And, my biggest thing is I love Utah. I moved here from Vegas 3 years ago. And this place has just given so much to me, man. I just love to hear. Like, it's been a great experience. I loved like coming here, seeing the new culture, new vibes of people, and I feel like I've been welcomed into this circle, which is, sometimes this circle's a little weird, and I'm sure we'll get into that. But like, I love this place. Like, I'm a kind of guy where I kind of try to go out and dip my toe in a bunch of different things. I try to do a bunch of different things, have a bunch of different experiences, and I feel like I've been able to have that so far. So every day is a new leaf.
It's true. Well, thank you for joining us on the podcast and for sitting down. I want to dive right into what you said, the circle or the bubble, as they call it. I've always found that when I meet members of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints in different states, there's a different vibe than the ones that were around here in Utah. And so I'm curious, for someone who didn't grow up in Utah, who's moved here and has spent time and got to know people and been immersed in this community, what is that circle? What does that bubble feel like to you?
Yeah, so I grew up in an LDS community in Vegas, on the east side of Vegas, right by the temple. So the community is pretty prominent there. There's a lot of people that are Latter-day Saints there. There's a good community there, and a lot of people that aren't. And I loved growing up with the people that weren't, if I'm being honest. It gave me a lot of great experience, a lot of great. Some of my closest friends to this day are not members of the church, and like I feel like that's a lot of people could probably say the same thing. When I first moved here, it was an interesting time in my life because I was 19 years old, and then I 3 months after moving here, I went on the TV show Survivor, reality show, and it just completely changed my life, shifted my perspective, kind of shifted my focus even a little bit of what my life was. And it's very interesting as my time has gone on. I've been in school since 2022, since that time, and as I'm going forward in school, as I'm going forward in all these things, it's funny because I'm going through all these different changes in my life. I'm going from a long relationship that I was in to not being in a relationship anymore. I'm going from I was an athlete in high school to now I'm not an athlete anymore. Now I'm just going to school. And then it was this whole thing of, okay, now I was on television, and then you have this, you throw in all these different people that think, people that haven't even met me, I think I'm cool because I was on TV, and they treat me differently.
Okay, but you don't think you're cool a little bit because you're on Survivor?
Bro, I mean, like, if I'm going to like put my resume up against other people's, I think I'm the coolest person I know. Okay. But I will never treat you as such. I think other people are way cooler than me in so many other ways. Like, when I say I'm cool, all I mean is I feel like I'm cool because I'm not trying to be cool. I feel like I'm cool because I'm not trying to portray that I'm something that I'm not.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's something that I get from a lot of other people when I meet them. And so, I'm going through all these different changes in my life. Like, I started going back to the gym, started trying to get back in better shape, which is, what everybody does when they're here in Utah, what everybody does. And so it's just it was kind of just like I I feel like when you're going through your young adult years here, or like even your teenagers, it's an interesting place considering all the things that you're putting on your mind that you really wouldn't have to consider other places, right? You're thinking about what other people are thinking about you. You're thinking about what other people are doing that you're not doing. You know, there's millionaires here at ages younger than me.
Yeah.
At age 21, 22 because of like a sales culture that we have here. And it's like all these different things that I'm trying to navigate as I'm getting older. And you know, to answer your question, circling back to it, a lot of times I think Utah gets a bad rep because of these different things that we're discussing. You know, everybody's judgmental, or, you know, the culture and everything. But ultimately, I feel like this is a place where you could really thrive if you have the right mindset to do so.
Yeah.
Which I've always felt like I did. I've never really been worried about what other people are thinking. I've never been worried about what my perception of other people are. And, you know, that thing has led me to so many opportunities. Like, one of the best opportunities I've got recently was like to start doing cheerleading at BYU. And the only reason I got the opportunity was because I put myself out there. I saw the people doing it outside. I went up to the coach. I went up to the other members of the team. I thought it looked great. I thought it looked awesome. And I started doing it. And you know, to this day, I still get people like, I literally had it happen today to where somebody come up to me and they're like, bro, what position you play? Like, what position you play in football? And I'm like, I'm a cheerleader. And they snicker, like they laugh. They think I'm joking. And you know, obviously, like, they don't mean to be disrespectful, but their initial response is like, nah, there's no way you would be doing that. Like, there's no way if you had a choice that you'd do that. I do have a choice. Like, obviously, if I could, you know, play Division I football, I feel like everybody would play Division I football. I love what I'm able to do, though. Like, I love the opportunity that my coach has given me, that the team has given me. And so, yeah, man, like, it's an interesting place to navigate all these different things. But I feel like the more that you concern yourself with what other people are thinking about you, the more dissatisfied you're going to be in every space, like, regardless of whether you're in Utah, New York, LA, whatever it may be.
Yeah.
So
no, I love that. There's a lot to unpack there, because I think my biggest struggle in my life has always been worrying about what people think, the way that I look, the way that I interact with people and everything. And when you get to a point where you just don't care and you're you actually connect with people on a better level than when you're trying to be something you're not, or if you're wearing a mask. And so I'm a real big believer in just being authentic. And people are either going to love you or they're going to hate you. And that's okay. I don't believe we're meant to get along with everybody. And when we can understand that and just live your life, and the people that come into your life that are meant to will, the people that leave your life that are meant to leave, they will also. I'm super curious for you, looking at your religion and your faith, what was it like to take that and then go play a game of Survivor? Yeah,
so I never, it's funny because I never really intertwined the two. I never thought I was going to have a connection between playing a game where you lie and do all these different things to try to get ahead of people, and my faith, which is to treat everybody with Christ-like love. But it paralleled, the amount of parallels that it's had in the moments since, and the way that it's strengthened my testimony is kind of crazy. So, you know, first off, going out on the show itself, when I'm out there and I'm educating people about the religion, right? You know, my one of my biggest things was I was never gonna like lie about not being a member of the church. I lied about everything under the sun. I lied about what color underwear I was wearing when it's sitting right there, but I wasn't gonna lie about what my faith was. And so people are asking, and obviously everybody knows I was Mormon. I'm not saying I'm like necessarily I was saying, but that's even another thing I educate them on. Like, oh, we don't like go by that term anymore. And I'm explaining to people what the religion is, and almost at the risk of them not liking Mormonism as a whole. But I tried to just make sure I was like very clear that my personality as a whole was gonna be what carried me over. Even at one point in time, we won a reward on the show, and alcohol, there was beer, that was part of the rewards, like beer and pizza. And, they wouldn't let me drink because I wasn't old enough to drink. I was 19. And so, but, regardless of that fact, it was kind of one of those things where it's like, everybody's asking, like, you want me to slide you some? Like, I could like get you a little bit. Like, I could just give you mine. I could just leave it on the table. I'm like, nah, I'm good. Like, I don't do that as a whole. Like, I don't do that anyways.
Yeah, regardless of age.
And so, then after the show is kind of when it really started to compound a lot, because on the show I talk about it, I educate people about it. That's all one thing. We're just sitting on an island just talking all the time. After the show is when I finally got to really let it play out. Like people could actually see what I was about. I'm going to watch parties, you know, I'm going to all these different events, all these different things where the opportunity to make mistakes is very present and very open. And nobody would ever know. And actually, if I'm being honest, would make some of my castmates and my people that I was playing the game with and stuff probably like happy. Not like happy that they made me, not happy that they're taking me away from something, but it's, you know, it's kind of a funny thing, right? You get the guy that's never been with a girl before with a girl. It's kind of hilarious. It's like, oh, great. And so, you know, throughout these different watch parties, throughout these different things, as I'm staying strong in my abstinence from all these things that I know to be harmful, you know, hard drugs, alcohol, like, you know, inappropriate relations with all these different women that are at these parties that are kind of willing to throw themselves at you because you were on reality television, which is, you know, such a silly thing. It's not just women, by the way. Men do it too. Men are predatory towards these women that were on reality TV. Yeah. As I'm going through that time, and I'm staying abstinent, you know, the only thing I ever get is compliments from people that are just kind of telling me about oh man, you have such strong conviction, all these things. And this isn't even something that I thought. Like I didn't even think I had strong conviction, to be honest. I struggle with a lot of different things. When I'm in high school and, you know, I'm dating and all these things, like I have my own struggles, like of worldly thoughts and you know, making mistakes, right? But the people telling me these things and me going through these experiences is what led me to strengthen my own testimony of I have to live up to this standard, because if I could do it when I was in that moment, I could do it in these next moments when it's gonna be easier. And so, you know, that's when the connection between my faith and the show really started to become kind of crazy, is because that's when I started to realize, oh, wow, this actually strengthened my testimony, because I want to walk the covenant path and I want to do what's right. And, you know, I also do want to be in a position where I can continue to do this. I didn't really believe in myself all the time about what I could do and how I could do it. If you told me I had to have 1,000 ox by next week, I know I could figure it out. If I had no other responsibility but to have 1,000 ox in Utah by next week, I know I could do it now. Like that's kind of just the way my mind operates. And that's a result of my faith leading me on the covenant path, because I was strengthened like while I was on the show and after the fact. Not to mention I lied all the time on the show and I felt really bad about it, and I knew that lying is bad. So like that's.
No, I love that. Real quick, before I ask you this next question, how far did you go on the show?
I was top 7. Okay. So I was right at, I was final 7. The show starts with 18 people. You break it up into, you know, tribes. And then eventually it goes down to like 12 people all at once. Everybody fight to win. The top 3, you vote on the top 3. All the people that were voted out previously vote on the last 3 people to see who wins the game. When I tell you I had everything written out, my dad was going to get a Porsche. My mom was going to get, you know, a nice house and a renovation. I had everything written out. I thought I was going to win the whole thing. I just got way ahead of myself.
What was that feeling like watching your torch get put out?
Oh man, it's funny because like I was actually watching it with somebody that won the game before. I was watching the show with somebody. His name is Todd Herzog. He's a legend. I love this guy. I was watching it with him at his house in Utah. And, you know, I FaceTime my mom after, and she was like crying and stuff. Like, not crying because she's sad, but like she's proud of me and stuff. And, you know, it's kind of surreal. It was like the closing of a chapter. It was like the closing. Because when it's going on, that's all that's going on. Yeah. Like, that's all that's happening. That's your life. You're reliving what happened. Obviously, you know that it already had happened. It's already recorded. But, you know, obviously, it wasn't like, I watch that back, though, sometimes, you know. Just a little motivation. Just watch it back. Yeah. Watch my torch get snuffed. Watch me get voted out. Let's go see what we could do today. Let's go see how, like, let's go get after it today. Let's not snuff our torch today. So it's kind of funny. Like, it's like you see in my face, like I knew it was happening at the time. So it's kind of funny.
No, I love that. I'm super curious. What is for someone college age, someone in high school that is put in that same situation where their faith is tested or their values are put to the test or they have temptation, having gone through that through a reality show where it's broadcast to the world, what's your advice to that person?
Yeah, I would say whether it's whether it's reality that you're on or which is obviously a rare situation, but whether it's social media, a lot of people are you know more plastered on the social media now. Regardless of what the situation is, if you're in a public sphere and your faith is tested in a public sphere in a very public way, I think the easiest thing for you to do is to give in. That's the easy thing to do, and so just go ahead and do it. Just go ahead and give in. That's the easy thing to do. Why would any of us sit here and do the easy thing to do?
Yeah.
Like, why would anybody that wants to be worthwhile, that wants to have any sort of, it's really funny to me because I think when we ask people, when we talk to people about their beliefs and we talk to people about their goals in life, those two things, you'll run into people that are like, no, I just go to work, I just get paid, I come home and chill. But I would like to believe that most young people my age, at the very least, if you ask them what their aspirations are going to be in life, they'll give you decently big aspirations. They'll tell you that they want to work hard. They'll tell you that they're hardworking. If you go up and ask, even the people that work 40, the most baseless jobs, you go up and ask them, are they hardworking? Most people will tell you that they are, right? What's funny about that to me is that sometimes it doesn't translate into the other things, such as faith, where you are not necessarily always seeing compounding interest in the faith that you're putting in. It's sometimes harder to see it, especially when you're not mentally, when you're not in the state of recognizing all the things that are happening for you instead of to you. Then it's really hard for you to realize that the work that you're putting in is actually getting you somewhere. And so my message, if that makes any sense at all, my message to people that struggle with that or that are being tested in ways that they don't really understand what to do or which path to turn, you need to understand that there is going to come a point in your life, if it hasn't already, and for some of us this young it has, where you don't have, you have everything you need, but you have nothing. Like, you've got a great job, you've got a great family situation, you've got money, you've got, children, you've got anything, and you still feel just empty.
Yeah.
You still just feel nothing. You still feel like you are unfulfilled. And I feel like people equate that a lot of times to something is missing or they're missing out on something, which is why people go out and make mistakes.
Yeah.
People go out and, they like, we don't have to name all the mistakes that people make, but there's like infidelity, there's drug addiction, there's all these different things that are just heartbreaking. That void can only be filled, in my opinion, through spiritual comfort, through the Savior, through these different outlets that you cannot find anywhere else unless you're making those decisions to stay on the covenant path, to make the right choices. And that does not mean that, drinking alcohol makes you unable to stay on that covenant path. That's my belief. That's my belief of what I have been taught. That's my belief of what I have seen happen to other people. Your own belief and your own conviction is all that matters, in my opinion. It doesn't make my way right or your way wrong, but whatever path that you're on, whatever path that you're being, convinced to be taken off of, if you're being convinced to be taken off of whatever you're already doing, you're probably on your way to doing the right thing.
Yeah.
That's kind of what I would say to people.
And if I can just add to one thing that you said, is that it's okay to make mistakes. We're going to make mistakes.
Yeah.
And sometimes we're so hard on ourselves that we don't give ourselves grace. I can give grace to another person, but when it comes to myself, I beat myself up. I'm mad at myself. I'm disappointed, and that's okay.
Yeah.
We're on this earthly journey to make mistakes, to mess up. And so it's okay. You may take a step back, but then take 2 steps forward. I want to know, for you, in your life up till today, what has the biggest thing that your relationship with God, what is the biggest thing you've learned from your relationship with God?
It's a good question. I think my viewpoint on everything is so much unorthodox because, like, I have like an unorthodox path almost, where it's like I I strongly believe in the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. I have a firm testimony. I didn't serve a mission. I never had the desire to serve a mission. I felt bad at times I haven't served a mission, but I wouldn't say it's something that I regret by any means, is not serving a mission. Which is funny because it's like, if you're faithful, you serve a mission. If you believe in the church and you get to that point in your life, you do. That's what you go do. And my relationship has always, with my Heavenly Father, has always been centered around understanding that I am going to get back what I'm putting in. Understanding that it's kind of, I think about a lot the law of consecration. I think a lot about the law of consecration and the talents that we've been given, the opportunities that we've been given. I look at these successful people in the world that are atheists, and it just it really baffles my mind. Like, it's crazy to me that people genuinely believe that they could have gotten to this place that they're at without any sort of help whatsoever. And I don't even think they would admit that. I don't think that these successful people would admit they got there all by themselves, but they would give glory to the man that gave them that opportunity, or to the thing that gave them the opportunity, or the circumstance, when those circumstances are only created by our Heavenly Father, and you cannot convince me any differently. And my relationship has always been a matter of, I have never given my Heavenly Father 100% effort and gotten 50% back. I've given 50% and gotten 100%.
Yeah.
All the time. I've done the same thing with my mom. Like I've done the same thing with my parents and my grandpa and other people that have helped me get to the point that I'm at in my life. And you don't realize it till you take a step back. When you're in the moment doing that thing, like not giving your full effort to the people that are giving you their full effort, you don't really realize it. But when you take a step back and you really look at everything, that's when it starts to become very clear that you're not getting these things done by yourself.
Yeah.
I wasn't driving the other day and felt the need to not get in the left lane, even though I needed to get in there. And then the car just drives right past me. Like, I would have never seen the car. Like, could have hurt myself, other people. Those kind of things happen to me every day. And I think it's all about perspective and the way that you choose to frame the things that happen to you. A lot of people don't love looking at things in a very spiritual lens. It's luck. It's karma. Karma is trust me, I believe in karma. I believe in karma all day.
What goes around comes
around. I believe that. I don't think it's a matter of chance, though.
Yeah.
I don't think it's a matter of this person just felt like you did something wrong earlier. I think it's a matter of your Heavenly Father saw that you were not you are not fulfilling your responsibilities. This is a lesson that you may need to learn. And I don't necessarily look at my Heavenly Father as, that means, like, even saying God, right? Even saying like God is like something that's interesting to me, considering I don't look at Heavenly Father as like this like very demanding, authoritative figure that's going to say if I did something right or wrong. The reason it's not that I don't look at him like that out of disrespect perspective. It's that I don't look at him like that because I truly believe when we are giving, we will be given to. I don't think it's a matter of when we are giving, he will be satisfied. No, we will be given to.
Okay. I want to challenge one thing that you said is, you said I didn't serve a mission. And I know I served a mission. I have friends who did, friends who didn't. Do you feel like, though, you could be serving a mission still with the way that you carry yourself when you meet other people, the way you carried yourself in a reality show? I don't necessarily believe that a mission can be lumped into, hey, I'm going to put a name tag on a white shirt and go for 2 years. I feel like talking about what you believe and what you know to be true and what you love happens every single day. And so I'm curious for you, is with that mindset, do you feel like your life is your mission to serve and to bring others to Christ?
Yeah. So, my dad's not a member of the church, and, he's never been a member. He's always been supportive, but never been a member of the church. And so the reason I bring that up even is to say, like, my dad's one of the more, if I was in Tuscaloosa, Alabama, and I needed a ride from Tuscaloosa for whatever reason, my dad would come pick me up. And he's one of the, he's one of the more giving people my mom is, the most selfless person I know. My dad is somebody that will give anything to his kids if they need it. It's not contingent. The way that you go about your life is not contingent upon whether you took 2 years between the ages of 19 and 24 to go out and serve the Lord, or however old, right? I do believe that whether it's because I didn't serve or not, I do believe that a lot of the responsibility that I have is to go out and to put on the exact representation that I need to put on, not just for my family, but for the faith in which I represent. Partly because I want to practice what I preach when I'm talking to people, when I'm teaching people about what I believe in, or when I'm saying something, I want to mean the things that I'm saying, right? And so I would say, yeah, I do treat a lot of my life as a mission of teaching people about what they need to be, maybe not teaching people about what they need to be doing, but teaching people about the joy in doing good.
Yeah.
That's my biggest thing. Like, everything I do, I want to grow. I want people to know who I am so that I can spread my message. When you're doing good, there is joy in that. Like, I don't have any, I know everybody says this, but like, I have no interest in the clout that comes with things, and money would be nice. I like the money and stuff, right? But like, I have no interest in the title that comes with being, an influencer or famous or any of that stuff that people kind of crave. I have most interest in having an outlet and having a platform where I could tell people doing good creates good.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah. No, that's huge. One of the biggest things, I'm sure you know who Ray Lewis is.
Yeah.
And one of the biggest things that I heard him say was, you can have a large platform and a huge following, but if you don't have a message, what's the point? If you're not teaching something, what's the point to have all these people following you to then do what? And so we talked about that when we were working out the other day. I love your mindset with not chasing that clout or worried about, I need to be this big influencer, and just treating everybody the same, regardless of, people may lump you into that influencer category or reality star category, but just being you, being human. Being a flawed BYU fan, that's okay.
Yeah,
there's
so
nothing
there's
wrong
no
with
flaw
that.
in being a BYU fan though.
Let's
8-0.
Let's talk about that for
Top
a second.
7, bro.
Let's talk about that for a second. BYU keeps winning. We get to the playoffs. It's BYU versus Alabama. I want you to talk with your mind, not with your heart.
You're talking hypothetically
Yep.
right now?
Yep.
Like, if this is the case?
It's BYU beat Alabama
In the college football playoff?
Yep.
So considering a couple things, considering Alabama would most likely...
No. I just want a yes or no, my friends.
But we're beating Alabama. Okay. And I'll tell you why right now, if I may. Considering Alabama will most likely not enter that game being the home team, BYU will not get an at-large bid, I don't believe. Okay. BYU wins the Big 12. BYU is going to be, top 8 seed. Alabama might lose a game or two down the road, right? Alabama might lose 1 or 2. They got Oklahoma. Oklahoma might go beat Alabama. They get in at a 2-loss team. Alabama, I don't care if you got 100,000 people. I don't care if you have 100,000 people in Tuscaloosa, Alabama. It doesn't beat 60,000 at Lavelle Edwards Stadium. It will never. Lavelle Edwards Stadium at a home college football playoff game will be the most electric environment college football has ever seen in the entire any game ever.
Okay.
And I that's conviction.
No, I love that energy. I mean, it's cute to have a bear on the loose, but when an elephant gets going, you ain't slowing down an elephant.
A bear will devour an elephant, and bear will devour whatever's in his tracks. And the Raiders are next. The Red Raiders are next.
I love this energy.
They're next. Like, I'm excited. I love that people keep picking against BYU. I love that people keep.
By the time this episode drops, that game would have happened. What's the score? BYU, Texas Tech.
BYU 38-23. BYU 38, Texas Tech 23.
Okay.
We're going to put them up on the boys. It's going to be just like the Iowa State game. Hard-fought battle, beginning of the game. A lot of people think we're losing that game too. Underdogs once again.
You confident?
I'm very confident.
So let's say something happens and BYU loses. You confident enough to wear a Texas Tech jersey to campus?
100%. I'll wear,
we don't need this bandwagon jersey that you got on.
I got the Pat Mahomes jersey on. Pat Mahomes is a Texas Tech guy, for those of you guys don't know. I couldn't care less. Bro, I'll wear whatever because it's not happening. I've already actually issued a challenge on my social media.
Okay, what's that challenge?
Check it out. The challenge is for every point that Texas Tech scores, I will be eating one tortilla. Because they got this tradition at Texas Tech where they throw tortillas on the football field before the game. It's not about losing or winning. For every point they score, I'm eating a tortilla from Cafe Rio. One tortilla for every point.
I'm going to be there with you.
They can score 7 points. I'll eat 7. It doesn't matter. I believe in the defense. I believe in Kalani wholeheartedly. I believe in the team. We're going to go out there. We're going to win the game, bro.
I love it.
It's ridiculous.
I'm so proud that you cheer on your team.
The disrespect is ridiculous.
You know, I'm go Cougars until they play Alabama. And then good luck.
They're not playing Alabama. We'll still beat them.
Okay. I love that.
Either way, Notre Dame, list them off, bro. Notre Dame, Texas A&M. I would beat everybody. BYU versus everybody.
Okay. We love that. So there's 2 ways that I wrap up every episode that I have on. Firstly, thank you for coming on. I am grateful for the opportunity to have conversations with great people. I love to ask people this question. I want you to picture that you're sitting down at dinner and you have 3 people, dead or alive, from the eternity of the world that you can have at this dinner table with you. I don't want to know the reason why, but I want to know who the 3 people are, and then what are you eating?
I like this. First off, my grandpa.
Okay.
He passed away 5 years ago. Next person I would definitely want to have. Let's go. I would love to have Matthew McConaughey.
Okay.
My grandpa, Matthew McConaughey. And finally, let's go a little bit out of left field, or a little bit left. I'm gonna go ahead and go Kobe Bryant.
Okay.
Kobe Bryant. So Kobe Bryant, Matthew McConaughey, my grandpa.
Okay.
Just what are you three?
What are you guys eating?
Right. At the dinner, the main course is roast, like chuck roast.
Okay.
Because my grandpa could just make great chuck roast. But with the chuck roast, we have Doritos.
Okay.
Simply just because I would love to see Kobe Bryant eat like Doritos. I can't imagine that guy eating anything unhealthy.
Okay.
And we're having Grand Canyon ice cream.
Okay.
For dessert.
I love that.
Just 3 studs right there.
That's
4 studs if you include myself.
I think you're the first person I've asked this question that did not pick Jesus as one of their guests. And I like that because those are 3 people that resonate with you. And I think that conversation would be good. People call me crazy because the 3 I had was Jesus, Adolf Hitler, and Nelson Mandela. And I chose Indian food because what I wanted to do is something that we were all eating with our hands and eating communal, sharing, everyone digging in together. It's always interesting to see who people choose to have at their table for dinner, to have that one conversation. I would love for you, I'm going to jot this down. I would love for you to ask, so every guest that I have on, I want to ask them to pose a question that I'm going to ask the next guest that I have on. What's one question you would want to ask them?
I would say the question that I would have you ask is, what makes you excited?
Perfect.
What gets you, in a simpler term, what gets you up in the morning?
Okay.
And I want you to preface it by saying, like, a lot of people say their family. A lot of people say, work or all these different things. Like,
What's the real reason?
I would want to know why. If somebody had no obligation to anybody else except for themselves, like what gets them up in the morning?
I love that. No, I love that. Perfect. Well, brother, thank you for joining me on Man on the Mic. We're gonna have to run part 2 back after the game this weekend.
After the game, I'll do what
and see what I think we'll let's bring tortillas on the podcast.
What I love about these, let's bring what?
Let's bring the tortillas you're eating, all 52, on the podcast.
Great. Yeah. So here's the thing. This is the other thing I love. I'm such a generous, giving man. Like I don't even need him to give me a bet back. Notice how the bet is one-sided. Why would I bet $100 to get my $100 back? That's what I'm doing right now, though, and I'm okay with that because I know the Cougars are gonna go out to Lubbock and they're gonna do their thing.
So, Mr. Influence,
there will be tortillas to eat.
Okay.
I'm sure there will be tortillas to eat. I'm not expecting them to hang zero, so I'm fine to come on here. I'll eat 55 tortillas but BYU wins 58-55.
Okay, you heard it here. So, reality star, influencer, single, looking to mingle. Where can the ladies find you?
The gentlemen and the ladies.
Where can they find you? Where can everyone find you?
They can find me on Instagram. It's layadi.sammy, layadi.sami. TikTok, Sammy Layadi. I'm trying to post on there like 4 or 5 times a week. So just trying to get a bunch of different stuff out, trying to make fun stuff, trying to make it engaging stuff. So, appreciate everybody that's able to follow, that's able to come through and support. We're going to be up there. We're going to be on top soon. That's my bio, on top soon.
Awesome. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in to Man on the Mic. This was another fun episode. A lot of trash talk, and let's see how those Cougars do.
Go Cougs, go Cougs.
Perfect. Awesome.